This is the world's first ever AI series. 10 minutes, 4 people, in 4 days, around 5,000 generations. This is how Arena Zero was built. Hey, Adil here. What you just watched is episode 1 of Arena Zero, the world's first AI original series made by Higgsfield. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out right here. Now, Seedance 2.0 has been one of the most requested models in the AI filmmaking world for quite some time now. And as of today, it is live, exclusively on Higgsfield. Today, I'll show you how it was used to create the world's first ever AI series. And I'm also going to introduce you to the 4 directors who built Arena Zero. Because the more I talked to them, the more I realized the tool mattered, but the people behind it mattered more. Let's get into it.
I'm getting my stuff. Just need to grab a few things.
What a rat hole. So, that's your new guy? Damn, not a big of upgrade down here.
Good tools don't make good films. Good ideas do. And the idea for Arena Zero is worth an understanding before we get into the shots. For those who don't know you, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Aitor Jildaskali. I'm a movie director from Kazakhstan and one of the 4 directors who created the series Arena Zero.
Great. We got tons of questions from the fans about Arena Zero. I mean, people are going absolutely wild. Could you tell us a little bit about how you came up with the idea?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I think the whole idea started from my obsession with monsters. I really love them. For quite a long time, I was saving different kind of monsters and ideas on my Instagram or Pinterest. And it all started there, I think. One day I talked to my friend and colleague Michael about this. We were just discussing how cool it would be to make different monsters fight each other, adding an ordinary person into the story and make them all fight. So Arena Zero started from this small idea. I was always a huge fan of anime, especially the genre called isekai, and read tons of action comics. And when Aitor came up to me and shared his idea, I told him mine. We sort of combined them together. I think they clicked right in. And then we started writing a script for Arena Zero.
Actually, this project was similar to the classic production story when you firstly do the pre-production process and go to the production story. In this case, we did the generation part. And firstly, we did the script writing. I think it's the basic of all storytelling stories. When you do the script writing, then you do the characters and you need to do the set design and what the style will be, how they will react to some occasions and how they will communicate with each other. And some of us did the characters and location, and others did the screenwriting part. And whole story took us about 4 days, 2 days for generating the story and creating the story, and 2 more days for post-production process. So like editing, color grading, and music, sound design, and so on.
Right, so pre-production and post-production were similar to traditional filmmaking, but then the production part was different.
I think, yes, the tool is different, but I think the basic is basic. You need to do your pre-production and your homework before you pop into the production process.
Good characters are what make you keep watching. And that's especially true for action series. Arena Zero has a pretty wild range. Ordinary people, intergalactic creatures, and everything in between. Each one feels distinct. But keeping characters consistent in AI filmmaking, that is not an easy task. So, every character in Arena Zero was built in Soul Cinema. It's got cinematic lighting, real texture, the kind of detail that you'd expect from a film. So, let's ask the directors what that process actually looked like.
15 seconds, babies! Let the games begin! Am I dreaming?
Can you tell us more about how you came up with the characters?
In general, every time when we created a character, they sort of came out from each of us, from our inspiration and ideas. That's why they look very authentic, in my opinion. On top of that, what made a huge impact was our own expertise in storytelling. For example, adding humor into characters' lines. We did it all ourselves, so I think it is still a work to be done by people.
Your face is about to not exist! Get up!
Yeah, Hoko is one of the brightest characters in our series. We really love her, so basically we came up with this idea, inspired from a TV show called Happy. There's always this character that supports the main hero, and we wanted to add something like that in our series. It's pretty basic canonical concept that you can see in a lot of movies. And actually, the Hoko was one of the easiest characters to make.
Okay, so they appear to be super fat. Leo? Oh no! Well, that's -5 HP.
The voice for Hoko was a pretty tough challenge, though. No matter how many iterations we had made, how many times we tried, Hoko wasn't just how we pictured her. So at some point, we even thought we would have to dub her ourselves, using our own voices. But we just tried Seedance 2.0 last time, and things finally started making sense. Hoko became a real character right in front of us. Her voice, her personality, her emotions. It all came together, and we loved it.
Tonight we have a warrior from the mysterious planet Earth.
What about Ziki?
Yeah, Ziki is people's favorite. I think what catches people's eye about Ziki is his depth. He's evil and entertaining at the same time. We wanted to add a character like that in our series because you gotta have depth to your characters. You need to show what they like, how they act in different situations, and I think in this small setting, Ziki really showed up how he is, who he is.
Hello. Come to Ziki, big boy.
At the starting point, we wanted to use something like Serbian language, but in the process, we basically just knew how people from planet Gnid sound in different situations.
I love that. It's a very impressive language where it kind of has structure, but at the same time, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's what we want.
Yes, sir. All right, we got the characters. Now we need locations where said characters can actually exist. The apartment is where the story starts. Leo's world before everything goes sideways. You know what's actually insane? They went through 60 options before finding the perfect apartment. Now, think about that for a second. If you had to scout these locations in real life, say an hour per apartment, 60 apartments, that's 1.5 work weeks gone. Soul Cinema got all 60 in like 10 minutes. Didn't leave the desk once. Main location of this world is the massive battle arena itself. The stadium where creatures from different planets fight for their lives like gladiators. And this is where Cinema Studio 2.0 really shines. It easily creates large-scale detailed environments. But let's ask the directors what their experience was like creating a setting like that.
Yeah, totally. Making Arena was definitely lots of fun. That's because none of us probably would have ever had a chance to work with a location of such a huge scale. I doubt we would ever get the budget or the time for this. I think we were given a huge opportunity to bring out the ideas, like this location, from our inspiration into the world. I think that's why it was an unforgettable experience. We picked a circular arena for two main reasons. First, we wanted to pay homage to classic gladiator movies. And second, more functional reason, the circular structure of the arena allowed us to iterate multiple times, yet keep the consistency of the arena itself from all the angles.
Yep, write that down. If you're struggling with location consistency at scale, just make it circular. This is the part of the video I keep showing everyone. That's full anime. The whole thing was created with just 3 prompts. I'm dead serious. If you've ever generated anything before, you know how insane that is. Oh, and here's a fun fact. This scene wasn't in the original draft. and without it, the whole film kind of felt off. It took me a second to understand what was happening, and I was actually a little skeptical people would even like it. And then just a short 35-second addition made everything make sense. Let's hear from the directors how they came up with it.
Let's start from the beginning. Okay, eyes on me! 1,000 worlds, each one's got its thing. We're at this one, and right now, we're on Planet Zero!
Animation part was one of the favorite part in our story because it quickly explained the world itself, because the world is not regular, it's in different planet and so on. You need to pop your viewer into the context, and the easier and quick way to do it was, in our case, cartoon, anime stuff, where you can explain very easily and quickly the whole background of this planet and so on. So it was really fun and we loved it, and it was really easy to do. But my favorite part was like, you are not only a director here, like you need to be a stylist, you need to be set designer, you need to be everything at once. This is, I think, most special and interesting part in this project, because you go with the multiple iteration, you just pop into this side and this taste and just combine together and just keep moving, keep trying until you find the right choice for your storytelling. And I think this is insane, that creative freedom is insane. You just can try everything until you find the right choice here.
Well, you guys did a fantastic job, and I personally can't wait for part 2. Good luck to you guys.
Thank you, Adel. Stay tuned for episode 2.
The ending had to be strong, and they did not hold back. This is where Seedance 2.0 went beyond what the directors expected. Destruction at that scale, with weather, lighting, entire structures collapsing, this would cost a fortune to shoot practically. Here, it just works. And it works at a quality level that surprised all of us. One regret though, the directors wanted an animated tournament bracket for the ending. All the fighters, their portraits, the matchup structure laid out visually, but they ran out of time before they could get it right. It's the one thing they'd go back and change. But the destruction sequence, as it stands, it's just fantastic. And here's a pro tip from the directors. Don't overload the model when generating videos. It's got great prompt following, but it's also fantastic at making unique, creative decisions. So make sure to give it some room for it to surprise you. Arena Zero is 10 minutes of footage. What went into it is closer to 5,000 decisions. Character design, environment building, style direction. What these 4 guys proved is that AI filmmaking isn't a shortcut. It's just a different pipeline. One that still needs people who know exactly what they're doing. Seedance 2.0 is here. It's on Higgsfield, and now you've seen what it looks like when someone actually pushes it. So make sure to go check it out yourself. As always, if you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.